Well, here we are. Andy Nichols, the Backwards Traveler, live in Liverpool at the Hard Day's Night Hotel to ring out the old and ring in the new. I hope everybody's doing well, and no matter where you are, what time zone, it might be New Year's Day already for people down under. And so for those down under, Boyan, Happy New Year, Happy 2026. It's 6 p.m. here in the UK, a little bit later than I thought I would be, but we had quite a hectic day here in the pool. And I'm going to tell you all about it. I know, and we're here in the lobby of the Hard Day's Night Hotel, where we have been for the last 2 nights, and we're going to stay one more night here. And it has been incredible to come back and spend quality time in Liverpool. And it's just happy to be here with everybody. And thank you all for joining us. I know it's probably, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon back home. So it's 1 p.m. on New Year's Eve, and everybody's probably getting ready for their New Year's Eve plans right here in England. Everybody's kind of getting ready for the night. It's just, we're getting ready. So we have the MVP, of course. The lovely Heidi's here.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year's Eve.
So let's say hello to everybody real quick here. Jeffrey, hope for the future for 2026. And what will that be? We'll have to wait and see. Happy New Year's, everyone, of course. Who would have thought we'd be ringing in New Year's in Liverpool, England?
Little change of plans. We were originally supposed to be in London with Kim and Tony. We'll see you tomorrow. Our plans got delayed leaving home by 2 days. So instead of 4 days in Liverpool, 4 days in London, we did 3 and 3. Yeah. We ended up being here on New Year's Eve, and we are having a blast. We are.
Let's say hello to everybody still. Lynn with 1A. Happy New Year's Eve to you. Mr. Martinez. Hello all from chilly Fort Worth, Texas. And James, I want to thank you again for all your guidance and travel tips as we navigated this journey and with the cancellation, and he is the go-to for all that stuff, so thank you.
Such a help.
2025 came in and went when it flashed. We blinked. We were at the Co-op in Manchester a year ago.
Yeah.
And a year has gone by in a flash, like James says, and we had another, 4 pole concerts?
7. 4. Yeah, and we're back in the UK for the following December. How blessed are we? Within a 12-month period, we came to England twice.
And we got quality time here in Liverpool.
Yes.
Lynn asks, did anyone actually keep a New Year's resolution from last year? I don't bother to make them.
I don't do them
anymore. We don't either. We don't either. Life is short by the tickets.
That's it. That's our motto, not our resolution. Life is short by the tickets.
Hello, Mrs. Beatley Tone. See you tomorrow. Is the gig on? Yes or no?
Yes, Kim, what's happening?
You could text us on the side if you like.
Miss you guys. Love
peace.
You.
Yes, hello, Mr. David Gargolino. Hello. Joe Mayo.
Hello,
Happy New Year, Joe. Hope to see you soon. Hope you're doing well. Christian. Hello. Happy New Year to you too. Tyrone. Happy New Year to you as well. We'll get to all the places. We will get to all the places, tourist and non-tourist.
Yeah.
But we really tried to...
Mostly non-tourists yesterday.
Yes. 1 p.m. in his jammies. Listen to him. Excuse me while we have a little drink here.
Cheers.
Cheers to 2026.
To 2026.
And 2025.
That's it. Yes.
Jeffrey says, hello. Hi, Tone.
Hey, Tony. Miss you and love you too.
The gig is on. The gig is on. On.
Well done. Have fun, Tone. And again,
our Uber driver today mentioned fireworks. Are we going down to Liverpool 1 for the fireworks? We might. We're just going to be down the road at the pub and the club watching a tribute band that goes on at 8 p.m. tonight, the Cavern Club Beatles.
Yes.
And then we're going to nip over into the pub. And our friend Jay Murray, who is a house musician at the pub, has got a gig on from 10:30 to about 1. So we'd like to spend that with him, but we'll have to see what
we
the
might
night
have
brings.
to step outside and see if there's some fireworks around midnight.
Yeah, we'll have to. We're only right down, and we
are literally steps away. I mean, it is bitter cold out, but you don't have a chance to get cold from the pub to the Hard Day's Night Hotel because we are steps away.
Literally.
And of course, Andy's got all his friends that he keeps in touch with here. So we don't have to wait on lines tonight. We're on a list. We're getting in everywhere. We're royalty. Feels like it.
It feels like it, doesn't it? So sad. Yeah, we are.
I know.
It just didn't. It did not work out. And but we're going to be with you tomorrow.
We love you too.
We love you both too. And listen, from one great city to another great city. So, and London's going to be even tremendous. We're going to pack as much in London as we did up here in Liverpool.
And the four of us are doing the zebra crossing together.
You don't know who's going to be who yet, but we'll figure it all out.
No, that's right.
Dibs on Paul. Just saying.
Let's just please. And I think Tony wanted to be John.
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
I'll be anybody.
The gig is on. Been rehearsing all day with the fill-in bassist. He's knackered before we even start. Mrs. Beadley Tone, do us a favor and send us some video tonight of the gig, please,
yes.
if you could. Ted,
Hey,
Mr. New Jersey relative, native. Hello, happy New Year to you
London.
too.
We're going to London tomorrow.
That's it. Yeah. So, hello, Lynette. I'll just give you a quick little pan of this is like the indoor area of the lounge. If you've never been to the Hard Day's Night Hotel, it's a really nice place. The accommodations have been fantastic.
Fantastic.
And
we
fair.
were in the other bar, and just when Andy was about to go live, a live woman came on, not a band, a live performer came on, and that's why Andy said 2 minutes, because we had to scramble for
I'm like,
another
it's
location.
too loud. You'd be hearing this gal strumming away.
Which she was lovely, but you wouldn't have heard Andy.
Right. So it's really cool. The Hard Day's Night Hotel is a privately owned place, but it's got chock full of Beatles stuff, as you can see, all over the place.
Memorabilia.
All the artwork in here was done by that famous artist Shannon. She's done a lot of Beatles paintings she's world famous for all that stuff. Her work has been featured at the fest, and every hotel room is adorned with like a unique painting by Shannon. And you've seen her work if you've been in the Beatles community for a while to do that. And
our room was adorned with Ringo. Great picture.
we would have liked Paul, but our man upgraded us anyway.
He did, free of charge,
which was great. His New Year's resolution is to listen to more Ringo. Okay. Good. Well, he's got a new album coming out, so you can listen to the new album as well.
Yeah.
So, recapping the 2 packed days that we've had here. We got here on the 29th after a long flight of delays.
And long train rides. A plane to a train to a bus to a train and a train.
You're quoting Hard Day's Night now. So far, I've been in a car, in a room, in a room, in a room.
Well, yeah, we were in a train, we were in a plane, then a train, then a bus, then a train, then a train, then we got here.
Hey, who's that little old man?
The second we came out of the tube into the street, just like last year in Manchester, and for those of you who know, you know, Andy looked around with this immediate, genuine, happy, sweet smile, and he was home again, and all that travel meant nothing.
We were exhausted at the time.
And
this bus to this train and everything, but then when we got out,
that moment, I felt it last year when we were in Manchester and we took the tube to Liverpool. I saw it on Andy's face then. Saw it again the other day, and we said, "What travel? That's in the past.
We're here and now.
That was then,
and it's all about the now.
And now we're in the
and
now.
And then we're in the now." David said, "Robert S. Hi, Rob. You should get over here one time. And if you've never been over here, and you're a Beatle fan, you got to do it." And I've had texts with James and Tom Liverani. They have not. I assumed that they were, but those of you who know, and Beadley Tone and Mrs. Beadley Tone know. They've been up here before, of course, but having spent the time that I spent here, and last year was great because that's when we met our fam.
Oh, we created our fam.
We created it, but we couldn't spend any really time here. It was basically just a pub, on a train back to a concert, and that was no chance to experience anything really, to show real stuff. Because if you've never been over here, you just think Liverpool, it's a city. And I think after 2 days now,
is Liverpool so much more than Matthew Street. Matthew Street is where the Cavern Club and the Cavern Pub and the Grapes
and everything
all
else.
These other new bars since last year. New bars, and everybody thinks that's what it is. Oh, did we get to see Liverpool today? But start with yesterday.
And we'll get to that. David got the Wings book. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Dad Nichols is tuned in. Happy New Year's Eve, Dad.
Hi, John.
What do you and Mom have on tonight? Staying local, going out with friends?
Send our love to Fran.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. And now, and we can talk about this, you know that there's no fest in 2026.
Yes.
So if you want to do Beatle things, come to Liverpool.
Yeah.
As they figure out their reboot for 2027. Come on over here because you ain't going to top this place for nothing.
No.
Nothing.
For us kind of fans, this is the place to be.
All right. So we wanted to really stagger our time because of the delays and the travel and everything. So we kind of really had to reprioritize where are we going and when and how are we doing it.
We're planners, and after all the planning, we had a revamp.
Boom. So I wanted to show Heidi the Beatles sites, but then also show her where I went to college at Liverpool Hope University. And those other parts of Liverpool and where I lived in Liverpool. And because I lived in 2 different sections, in the city center and also in the suburbs. And I'm like, look, let's just do all that stuff one day and try to do the Beatles sites the next day. And we were just going to hop on thankfully through friends of mine, they were going to just give us a pass on the Magical Mystery Tour bus, which is a lovely tour. And it's fantastic.
With about 40 other people.
So when we're telling this to one of the managers here at the hotel, lovely chap by the name of Eric, who looks just like Santa Claus.
He does.
The fact that even Heidi kept calling him Nick.
I kept calling
Saint
him Nick, and I think because I'm thinking Saint Nick.
He looks like Santa Claus, but he is such. He saw all our Paul stuff, and he's like, "Oh, Paul's your favorite Beatle, huh?" And really old school, like they took the bags to the room.
Yes.
What hotel does that anymore?
Our room wasn't ready. They said, here's a free voucher. Go get yourselves a free drink at the bar. When it's ready, we'll bring it up to your room. Came into the bar, tapped us on the shoulder and said, take your time, but all your belongings are in your room.
Like,
who does that anymore?
Not done anymore. So we figured out what we wanted to do, got the plan, and we went out. And it was early. We got to Liverpool at 1:30 in the afternoon, recharged, went out, and took Heidi right down to the Mersey and the Albert Dock, the water, just to kind of let's get out of this. Let's just get out of Matthew Street. Let's go to the pier head.
Yeah.
So we went to the pier head, and I started seeing all the buildings and the Cunard buildings and all that stuff. And we learned more today from our tour guide about more of that with the Titanic and all that stuff. We'll get to that, but of course the
Arthur Dock.
Albert.
Albert
the
Dock.
Albert Dock.
Name of Arthur. The Albert Dock.
We'll get to that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was so Monday we just kind of hung out, but Monday we just kind of crashed when we got into town because it was late and we just went right. And Tuesday we hit the ground running, and that was the
after 10 hours of sleep. We couldn't believe it, but we slept 10 hours. We were exhausted.
Right. So Monday night we just hung out here and just stayed local, and then we knew Tuesday after we recharged we're going to hit there, and we packed it in and we went to the Albert Dock. We saw the Mersey. We saw all the ship, everything about it. Looked over across the water. I had to explain what over the water is, and that's the more posh area.
Cynthia lived there,
Yep.
John's first wife.
Yeah.
We went to a wonderful place called the Baltic Fleet, where the person whose name is up right now, Mr. John Nichols, and his son Andy had a drink there quite a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we were probably 2 of 3 people in the place, just an authentic, real pub, real feel, and a fireplace, and lovely bartender. Had a nice chat with him, and Andy and I spent a good hour there. I think we had one pint each, just talking.
Yeah, there's the Baltic Fleet for you right there. It's a little pub at the end of the road, all by itself, very old.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of the street.
Yeah, exactly where the fireworks are, Dad. Yes. So then from there, I said, let's hop on the underground. Mersey travel. So we got a card, went down, and then from there we went to the Aigburth section of Liverpool, and this is where my housing was for the first year when I lived here. And this was the first time I think where you were like, wow, this is actually a quiet, secluded neighborhood.
It was not the city; it was the suburbs, and it was gorgeous, quiet. Like we were talking to each other, whispering. We're like, why are we whispering? It was so different than the city.
Very different.
And I got to see the door. You didn't get to go in, but the building where you lived your first year here.
Yep. We walked across all that, and it really, again, when you walk past these neighborhoods, especially as us as Yanks Americans, there's St. Michael's Church was there, which is an old church that Heidi saw, and she's like, look how old this stuff is. And that was the theme of today, just looking at the things that are hundreds of years old, centuries old.
Old cemeteries, gosh.
Everything that we saw. So we walked through the St. Michael's section of Aigburth, made our way up to Aigburth Road, which was like where the main drag of that neighborhood was. And we wanted to make our way over to a nice little neighborhood called Lark Lane, which is like that neighborhood's downtown area.
Yeah.
And
just locals.
Nothing
touristy
at all. On the way, we did go to a really local chippy where we split a little small pizza. Like, again, nothing touristy about anything.
No.
In fact, it was cash only, which is how you know it's because everything else is tap.
Yeah.
We went there and just, again, we wanted that authentic experience. We knew we did the touristy bit stuff, but I wanted to just see real life, ordinary life in Liverpool.
Yeah.
And I want to have you see that too.
And we got to talk to the locals who, 2 words come out of my mouth and they go, where are you from? Because I'm like, quite obvious I'm not from here.
Where are you from?
Every person, but gosh, are they so nice? They'll chat away with you over a pint. It's so nice.
Right, they will. And once I tell them who I am, and that, 'cause I also sound American too, but then when I give them the history, they're like, oh, he knows a thing or two about
That's my
this city.
standard answer. We're from Jersey, but he lived here for 2 years, and then boom, we're off
That's-
and running.
and then
and
we're
a
off
great
and running,
conversation.
and it's a great conversation. So, yeah, we went to Lark Lane, and we went to a lovely little, another old school pub called the Albert, and just everyday people just sitting in there having a pint.
The place was old, kept up, but you could just feel the history in this pub.
Yeah. And Lark Lane, as when we saw today, Sefton Park is on the other end of Lark Lane,
Yeah.
which is obviously a pretty famous park that Ringo sings about in one of his songs. I think it's on Liverpool 2000, Ringo 2012, I think was the album it's on. That song in Liverpool. Another one, not Paul's, Ringo's. So saw Lark Lane. It was great. Walked around. Then it got dark. It was starting to get dark, and I said, let's go to the college
At
campus.
like 4:30.
Well, this is how it is over here now.
Dark early.
Well, and at 8 o'clock in the morning, it felt like it was midnight.
So dark.
But I said, let's go over to the Hope campus in Childwall, and got an Uber and got to see Hope Park campus
Oh, it was beautiful, all lit up.
over in Childwall, which is not too far from Mendips, where John lived, in a nice, really posh neighborhood. And got to go back to the building where I studied. Got to go back to see the building where I graduated, and of course it's closed for the holiday break. But it was nice. It was all done up for Crizzy and all that.
Beautifully lit up. That's another thing about Liverpool. They decorate beautifully. And as I was trying to put it to Andy, it's kind of like ornate in a posh, gorgeous way. It's not ornate, like overdone, cheesy. Gorgeous holiday decorations in this town, and Hope Uni was no different. It was gorgeous.
And it's nice to see that the college is still there.
Yes.
Again, out in the suburbs.
Yeah.
A good 15 minutes out of town.
Yeah.
So we saw the Hope Park, the Hope Uni campus, saw all that, and then we took the cab back to a place I wanted to show Heidi, which my dad saw, which is called the Bombed Out Church, also known as
St. Luke's.
Right.
I said, Andy, what church is it? It's the Bombed Out Church. No, what's the name of the church?
I honestly didn't know, because all the locals call it the Bombed Out Church.
So we get there, it's St. Luke's Church. I'm like, Aunt, it's St. Luke's. But as I Googled it to learn more, which is what I do when I go to places, it says nobody calls it St. Luke's. It's the Bombed Out Church.
Told you. And that was, I knew what that was. I had seen it many times. Heidi hadn't seen it. Now this was a church that was destroyed in the war in 1941 when Liverpool was bombed, and the exterior of the church still exists, but the entire inside of it is gone and demolished, and smoke stains. No roof, no pews, no nothing. Now it's been maintained as a garden now.
Yes.
For a place of tranquility. What did it say?
Rest and tranquility.
Right. Going to the neighbors for a bit. Enjoy.
Enjoy, guys.
But when you walk past that building, that church, and you see the effects and we saw more today, evidence of war-torn Liverpool are all over this city still.
It is.
And you could see the soot and the effects from the bombing
So
on the
much
church.
soot.
Like eerie. And now it's nighttime and walking past the
And
bombed
you're
out church,
looking
and you're
through-
looking through what would be the panes of glass.
Correct.
And you're not seeing glass, you're seeing night on the other side. Yes, it was night. It was a bit creepy.
I was, and Andy, as he should, had me walk all the way around the church. So you got every angle. And God, I mean, yeah, it was cold, but I had chills for a different reason. What an impact that church made on me.
Yeah, you were really intrigued by that church.
I was very
and religious,
touched.
Religious Catholic girl growing up, of course,
Catholic,
right?
yeah.
I'm sure.
But it's all I kept saying was, I hope nobody was in there when it was bombed, because the structure of this church is intact, you guys, but there's no roof and there's no windows. And it laid like that for 60 years.
Yeah,
and
60.
then finally City Council bought it. And now inside, it's like a beautiful grassy park where you can have rest and tranquility after such devastation.
Right.
I really liked that story.
It was a great story.
Yeah.
To see that bombed out church and everything with it, and going about and what came
positivity coming from
out of it. Now, an intriguing thing that we noticed with the bombed out church is that there's clocks on 4 sides of the front of the church. So we saw one side of it, and it was like 2:30.
Yeah.
And we figured, okay, that's when the bombing was.
Yeah.
But when we looked on the other side of the clock, it had a different time.
105.
And another side of the clock had a
It's
different
like
time.
10 after 8.
And the other side of the clock had a different time. So you're like, well, what time did and that's, we never actually looked that up yet.
I started, and we wanted to ask our guide today, but we're not sure why, but there are 3 different clocks or 4 with different times.
Just going off memory, I think Liverpool was bombed very, very late at night or early in the morning.
3 in the morning.
I think that's probably when it was, without looking it up. But
Yeah.
you'd have to, it would make sense. You're gonna bomb everybody when they're asleep.
Of course.
Horrible though.
And we have since found out that Liverpool was really bombed in 1941. It wasn't just that bombed out church.
We saw other parts of the city today. What was the religion that had it there? Oh, there was
with a W. We'll think
Welsh.
of it.
The Welsh.
The Welsh.
No, the Welsh had it. The Welsh had a church, and that was still ravaged and torn apart.
Yeah.
Tyrone says Liverpool's is full of great pubs and people. He used to work in Knowsley and stay up in Southport and spend most evenings in town and occasionally go to football. Never had a bad experience with his city. Finished, and you're very right, Tyrone.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
We finished up at the bombed out church and had a nice little quick pasta dinner also on the just outside of there on the way back down. Because as you know, if you know Liverpool, it's sloped like this and it's a lot easier going down than it is up that hill. We're not running up that hill like Kate Bush.
No.
We're running down that hill.
Yeah.
Had a nice little quick meal in there, and then we
Yeah.
worked our way back down into town, and of course worked our way onto Matthew Street, which is what we wanted to do, and just kind of see and just walk up and down Matthew Street, and made our way into there.
And of course, we started at the Cavern Pub. Andy and I are having a nice little chat, and some gentleman came up and started playing, and Andy looks past me and goes, hold on a second, one of my mates is here. Everywhere we go, this guy, especially on Matthew Street in this area, he knows people still.
A friend of mine, Brian Cody, also known as Batman. I haven't seen in probably 13 years, but we occasionally message. I was sitting at the bar at the pub. He was at the other spot, and he looked at me, and he goes, Andy? I said, Batman. We went over, had a big hug, had a nice chat.
Lovely.
He really was. He was it was so great to see him. And
long story short, I read a sign wrong, and I thought that there was a Liverpool match versus Leeds yesterday. So I just kept saying, I need to be in a bar in Liverpool to watch the football match. And everybody's like, that's on the 1st.
Right.
And I'm going, no, I was in a
No,
pub.
but you saw the sign, the advert in the Albert Pub in Lark Lane said the match was on.
Meaning December, the 30th of December. Well, the match is actually at 12:30 p.m. on
tomorrow,
January 1st.
Which means,
and I was so hyped yesterday. I'm going to see a match in a pub with Liverpool playing at Leeds, and it's going to go wild. And then it was like, bom, 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 bom.
wrong.
There was
no Liverpool match, which that match is tomorrow, which is going to mean getting out of here is going to be, we got to get on that train and get out of here because
before the city goes nuts.
I think the match is here. I don't think it's in Leeds.
It is in Leeds. I looked it up.
Oh, it is in Leeds?
Unless I looked it up wrong. I don't know.
Maybe Tyrone can tell us.
Tyrone, let us know.
So we were going to hope for that, because I said, Heidi, when you watch a football match in a pub, I said all the music stops, because back in the day, when I'd watch a Liverpool match in the pub, all the music stopped and everybody's eyes were glued on the TV.
Yeah.
And the pub kind of changed that. So a friend of mine who I met, a younger bartender by the name of Reese, said, just go across the road to this Sgt. Pepper's. And then there's a lot of new bars on Matthew Street, new money, people that are just throwing up Beatle-themed bars to make money that are not really authentic, shall we say. And I think if you know us, that's what we go for.
Oh.
So he said, the football match is over there. We go across the road and Chelsea's on. And I'm like, wait a minute. If Liverpool's on, and Chelsea is, it's got to be. There's a mistake here.
Yeah.
So, but it was nice. We had a beer, then we left.
Beer.
And
Fran, if you're still watching, there's a bar now that just opened up since last year called Rubber Soul. And I said, we got to go in for your mom, for Fran. Oh my gosh, it was disco music. We took a picture, and as you could see, I'm doing this, Franny. Because we tried, but we went in, and it was disco music. We said, no time for this. We didn't even have a beer in there.
They had all sets of statues that were supposed to be the Beatles.
They look not in like three errors of the Beatles.
You know, young, middle, and old.
Four here. I'm going, Andy.
Who's who?
This is not the Beatles.
Ridiculous. But
and
that's how you know.
It's supposed to be. And then he looks and he goes, who the hell is this?
That's how you know that they just throw these places up because they say the word Beatles.
Yep.
And they think that tourism money is going to come flooding into it.
No.
And these places come and go. So
we went
to the Grapes.
Grapes.
Went to the Grapes, which of course is another one that's been around forever, but it's under new ownership now.
Yes.
So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more updated, but it's still the same.
Yeah.
We got a
drink there.
We got our answer. The match. I knew the match was here. It's here.
Good. I loved the Albert, but
they were wrong. Yeah.
It's
Tyrone
okay.
says home tomorrow. Tony says get out of town. Well, our train is at 12:30, and we'll be there before then. Dad says going to see the grandkids for a little while. Happy New Year, you Scousers. Happy New Year, Dad.
Give them kisses for us.
Give hugs and kisses to all the kids, will you? Thank you.
And John and Becky.
Yes.
I mean, Tom and Becky.
Tom and Becky.
All right, so that wrapped up day one. We, of course, ended our night up back at the pub.
Oh, God. Oh, you got to talk about this.
Okay, so,
all right, so
as I
give a little
just said,
context.
I was really hoping for this Liverpool football excitement, watching the match on all these TVs and seeing Liverpool come together. So I was really bummed. So we end our night at the pub, having a lovely time. Our bartender, Reese, Brian was still there, met a couple of new people. Next thing you know,
a gentleman's playing.
A gentleman who was fantastic. One-man band. He could sing and play the guitar.
His name is Tony Skeggs.
Yes, and he was fantastic. Playing songs I haven't heard in years, and the whole bar sing-songing.
Everything, Squeeze and American Pie, Elton John, Beatles.
So next thing you know, we're mid-sentence, and the whole bar just you couldn't hear your thoughts. Singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." I'm looking around going, what is happening? People with their eyes closed, singing their hearts out. Andy crying, the bartender crying with Andy. I start crying. It was better than watching a match in a pub in Liverpool. I got to experience something magical.
That's the energy of a football match right there. And
drop the mic. That the way we ended last night on such a wonderful, perfect day to see a town singing their song.
Their anthem.
Their anthem.
Yeah, and Heidi had known that song for another reference.
Yes.
In America, the Jerry Lewis Telethon, which he sang all the time.
Jerry Lewis ended his Muscular Dystrophy Association
with
telethon with that, and I'm going, I know this song, but now I know it in a whole new way.
It was incredible, and maybe we'll hear it tonight too. Wouldn't that be great to hear that tonight at midnight?
It was so spontaneous and authentic, and people were just full of emotion, including you, which was really special.
It was because I know what that song means, and to be here at this time of year and experience that was incredible.
Yeah.
So that was a wonderful way to cap night one of local, authentic Liverpool experiences. Came back here, and then thankfully, as I had mentioned earlier at the top of the start, one of the managers here, Eric, Santa Claus, he had heard us talking about we're going to go on this bus tour to see the Beatles sites, and he goes, "What are you going to go do that for? There's 40 people on it." He goes, "Do a private cab tour." I said, "Well, those cost a lot."
Andy goes, "That's like 800 pounds."
That's like lots of hundreds of pounds. And he goes, "No, it's not. It's not even a third of that." It was very reasonable. Texted his mate and said, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, you're on for a 2-hour tour. Well, it ended up being a three and a half hour tour.
Because this gentleman, Dave, took his time showing us and telling
us
everything.
Which was worth it, and it did not cost an arm and a leg.
It did not.
To go out and have one driver show us all the sites. Some of the sites that I hadn't even seen and gone to. I had driven by them when I lived here, but actually get out and look at them, I hadn't even really stopped at Paul's house before.
Well, he had never been in Strawberry Field because it wasn't open at the time.
No.
It was the Salvation Army
children's
home back in the day, and then it was nothing. And Andy had driven by, and he saw the gate, but he couldn't actually go in. And now they have a new building where it's all repurposed and reused and recycled.
Yeah, clean energy, green, like very eco-friendly stuff.
Yes,
and
a gift shop, a little cafe, coffee and snacks. And we went there, and Andy said, "You're experiencing something that I've never experienced before."
Well, and that building is only 7 years old, as Dave told us.
Correct.
That whole new. It's basically, and they employ special needs children and people that work there, which is kind of what the ethos of what Strawberry Field, the Salvation Army orphanage was.
Right.
So they're trying to do right by people and social services, and I think it's a really nice thing to do.
It is.
It was freezing cold, so we really appreciated a quick cup of coffee and a quick cup of tea to warm up. and continue our tour. But that was halfway through. Here's a quick pic of me and Heidi at Strawberry Field today. That's the original outside entrance that's not the original gate. The gate that existed back in the day is now preserved on site and secure, so nobody can kind of get at it, right? But it's all been torn down. The original building, the orphanage, got torn down in the 50s. It's not there anymore.
Which is a shame, because as our tour guide Dave told us, that would have made a fabulous hotel.
He said, he goes, if they had thought about this and invested money, they could have had the Strawberry Fields Forever Hotel right there and made tons of money, but it was demolished in the 50s, long before the Beatles were a thing.
The building was gorgeous. The pictures
it was, but the gentleman, Dave, planned this private cab tour ride out so well by starting out at Ringo's house in Toxteth, which was historically one of the more depressed areas of town.
Yeah.
But it's not anymore. He told us it's coming back. There's more money here now.
Last 10 years, they built it up.
So he took us to the Empress, which is, of course, the famous cover of Ringo's first album, Sentimental Journey, which is now adorned with paintings and murals and stuff.
This mural was gorgeous.
On the side of it, there's this great big huge mural painted by a guy that had one hand. One arm, painted this huge, beautiful mural of Ringo, all this Yellow Submarine type stuff on the side of it. And then as you walk down the rest of the road, you see Ringo's house, which I believe is being turned into an Airbnb.
It is.
It certainly and it's got the V sign in front of it because that was the victory in Europe.
Yes, and then Ringo decided,
I'll just adopt this. And Dave was phenomenal. This is a guy that gives tours, hundreds of tours a year.
Yeah.
So when we introduced ourselves, I said, look, I've lived here. I said, I know, because he's like, oh, you know the city well. So, but I still wanted him to do the whole spiel so Heidi could hear it.
Yes.
So which he did.
Halfway through, I said, Andy, do you know all this already? And he goes, about 90%.
Yeah, but he was lovely and he was authentic.
Thorough.
Here's the mural. That's on the side of the old Empress.
A gentleman who only had the use of one arm did this gorgeous mural by himself.
Incredible.
Oh, such a tribute to Ringo.
So then from there, we went to George's house, which was just another neighborhood away.
Which we could not go down the street.
In Admiral Grove, because the locals don't want cars going down there. It's a dead end. It's chained off. And they can't go down there. But of course, they only just recently put up a blue badge outside of George's house about 9 months ago to signify that that's what it is.
And they do that 20 or 25 years after somebody passes, that you can make it like an authentic historical landmark. But the people on that street, it says no unauthorized visitors, and they own the street. It says it's unadopted.
Yeah.
Yes, what does unadopted mean? Unadopted means everybody on that road owns that street. So if there's a pothole, they got to fix it themselves. And because they own it, we are not permitted to go down the street.
Yeah, see, Arnold Grove, unadopted, but they actually own the street.
Yeah.
It's wild to go see that.
Yeah.
And then we made our way into Penny Lane, which was absolutely probably one of the highlights of the tour.
Yeah. If anybody has seen the
Carpool Karaoke.
Carpool Karaoke by
James
Corbin, that was like when we were in Penny Lane, that's all our guy Dave talked about was the Carpool Karaoke. So we got to we saw the barbershop, which sadly is now closed.
It's closed. The Penny Lane barbershop is gone.
The building is there. It still says it, but it's closed.
No, but so he's repurposing it and turning it into a wine bar.
Yeah.
But he's keeping the barber stools to kind of keep the barbershop aesthetic.
Yeah.
Because he's like, look, he told us, he goes, there's 1,000,001 barbershops in Liverpool. I'm not making any money. I own the building. I might as well turn it into a wine bar. Fine.
But he knows the draw because of the Beatles and because of Paul McCartney being there. So he's leaving the bar stools as an attraction for people to come to the wine bar. And then we went to the flower shop, the florist.
Oh, and they were great.
Oh, there was 2 women in there who were so fun, and they were in the video telling us he's such a normal guy. He came in, and you would never realize what a celebrity he was, right? They said we were having conversations with him just like he was a normal guy. And then after he left for 3 hours, we were like,
yeah,
was Paul McCartney really just in our shop? They were lovely ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, pictures of that visit everywhere with James Corbin taking selfies. They have pictures that James Corbin took himself, selfies of
himself with all of them,
with the girls,
all in the flower shop,
all in the flower shop.
And the poor girl was like, I haven't watched the video because I didn't know the song Penny Lane. I said, wait, you're in the video and you haven't watched it? She said, no, I haven't.
She goes, I'm embarrassed because I couldn't sing along with them. I just knew to go Penny Lane. Like, she's like, I'm embarrassed. We said, girl, you watch
You
that.
got to watch that. We watched that video probably 100 times.
100. Now we're going to watch it 101.
Yeah, so it was really great to see all those local connections. And Dave, being a tour guide, knew a lot of that whole thing of the carpool karaoke, when it was coming to town and where things were going to be. And so he had the inside scoop on a lot of that carpool karaoke stuff.
He showed us the
which was
apartment
cool.
building where Paul came out of and started
Help.
the carpool.
I need somebody help.
Yeah.
And then he gets in the car.
Oh.
Yeah. So we saw all that. And then we saw just driving through Liverpool, areas that were depressed, areas that were, again, where the city was. Like, you had a lot of sea captains. I mean, John Penny was a sea captain, right?
That's right. We learned that.
And he showed us the house that, like, this is where people lived. Anybody with, like, a lot of money, if you were involved with the Merchant Marines or whatever, you were high up in ranking, this is where you lived.
That's right.
This is where you lived. I mean, like I used to the guy, it seems like back in the day, you either had money or you were a slave.
Well, he was saying there was about 30 servants. And there were mansions. And Dave's going, well, this house was, Mr. Penny, and he had 30 servants. And I said, everything you're telling us, if you were either a servant or a millionaire. And I go, nothing in between? He goes, not much. And that was in like the 1800s.
Yeah.
These houses are gorgeous.
Right. And they're just
mansions.
They're mansions, they're old, some of them have been fixed up, some of them have been not, but they're still so preserved and historic.
And people live in them. And the street that they are on, it used to have a gate with and it's still here, like a booth.
A toll booth.
A toll booth made out of, what was that made out of? Like brick?
Yeah.
And you had to pay a fee at the booth to go down the street to see these McMansions. So we saw real poverty and then we saw real wealth.
Yeah. Another highlight was seeing the Anglican Cathedral where Paul kind of made that triumphant return in 1989 or 1990 when he premiered the Liverpool Oratorio. And of course, Dave was telling us the story that Paul was rejected as a member of the choir. He never got accepted. And he came all the way back 30 years later to actually have his moments. Yeah.
It was massive.
Yeah.
Massive. And Mass is still said there every week. And when he went back and did this whole orchestral
Liverpool
concert,
the oratorio,
they said, we are so sorry we didn't let you in the choir. I thought that was pretty cool. They apologized to Sir Paul McCartney.
They did. So lots of Penny Lane stops at the Strawberry. Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields were two pretty big stops in terms of. And then going into the cemetery. Oh, of course, we went to St. Peter's Church.
Oh gosh,
at the site where John met Paul on the 6th of July, 1957.
So we were at St. Paul's Church, but then we went to the St. Paul's center, the
church hall.
Church hall. We didn't get to go in it. It wasn't open, but that's where they met. Oh.
Yeah, at the site where they met. Which again, places that I drove past when I lived here, but I didn't go to all these sites when I was here as a student. I didn't have the time. I had to go to class and I had to study and to research. I couldn't go to. I hit a couple, but I didn't hit them all. I would drive past them quick or whatever. I didn't actually, because I didn't want to do the touristy thing.
I know.
As a student.
Well, you were learning on your own about the Beatles and pop culture and pop music, and which I learned very well yesterday when I was like, well, what did you do when you lived here? He's like, I studied my butt off. It was a very difficult course.
Very.
And you did stuff, but not all the touristy stuff.
No.
So I was kind of a good excuse. I wanted to do it, and you got to learn a couple of new things.
Right. But the cemetery across from St. Peter's Church was incredible.
Yeah.
And Dave was telling us this is where John used to hang out and have a cigarette and hope the vicar wouldn't see him.
Well, John used to play there, not because he was, he used to sing there, and not because he was religious, because he got paid.
Right.
He only sang there and played music there because he wanted the paycheck. So yes, he'd sneak out for a cigarette, but have to hide from the vicar.
And he said that word so cool.
Oh, the vicar.
The vicar.
The vicar. I love the accents here. Oh, the accents are great. And he would hide. And then if the vicar came out and said, John Lennon, what are you doing? He'd toss the cigarette behind him. Yeah. And he'd go, I'm checking out.
Yeah.
What was the first tombstone?
Oh,
Father
Mackenzie.
Father Mackenzie, but he's not father on the tombstone.
No.
John took liberties to change the words. It was, I think, John what was his
Well,
name?
you took the pick.
I took the pick. And that was his first tombstone. But then the vicar got wise to where his hideout was. So he had to move. And that's when he saw Eleanor Rigby. And there's a lot of Rigbys actually there.
A lot of
but
Rigbys.
He focused
But
on
that,
Eleanor.
the very, very just old cemetery that for hundreds of years.
I mean, people buried there from the 1800s.
Yeah, it was incredible to watch. And it's so peaceful and so quiet.
Very peaceful and quiet.
So you got the one there?
I'm getting it.
Yeah.
All right, so this is just a view of, you're better at holding the phone up. Could you do it?
Yeah.
It's like the church with some of the gravestones, right? And Eleanor Rigby, we will show you. That's it.
Yeah, there.
So you can't really stand in front of it. If you look, it's John Rigby, and then go up a little, Andy. Right in the middle there, it says Eleanor Rigby.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few Rigbys buried there. Our guy was saying up to 10 people could be buried in a plot. They don't do 10 anymore, but
Yeah.
up to 10 people.
Here's
could
the
be
placard.
buried there.
Here's the placard and you can't really see it, but it's signified on this building. That's the church hall.
Yeah, where they
met. Yeah. All right there.
Yeah, so the cemetery was just really cool because that was John's kind of like hideout, and it was his inspiration, obviously, for a pretty incredible song.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, and then just go. Here's back some strawberries. When we back in the new Strawberry Fields kind of museum, this is the tree that John apparently spent time in hanging out in, and there's the placard that says right there, "No one I think is in my tree." According to Dave, that's the tree.
That he would climb up with his guitar and play.
Yeah.
So now he would climb over the wall of Strawberry Fields. He wanted to just go visit the orphanage. He made friends with some of the kids in the orphanage, and the warden would say, "Get out." Mm-hmm. There would be 20 kids in a dorm, and he'd count. And when he'd get to 21, he'd go, "John Lennon, you must be here. It's time to go home." So he kept kicking John out. And finally, the warden brought John home and said to his auntie, he keeps climbing the wall and he needs to stay home. And John goes, "Why? Am I vandalizing? Am I causing any disruption? Am I doing anything terrible?" And the warden went, "No, actually, you're not. You're welcome anytime." And that's when John became friends with a lot of the orphans and would bring them food and play for them. And
yeah. I don't know. He said that they cut it down.
Yeah. They would cut it down to keep it healthy.
They cut it down. It does look small, but I had the same question, Lynette, in my head. I'm like, it is kind of, but he says that they do cut it down.
They trim it to keep it healthy.
To keep it healthy, but you're right.
And John and Paul used to go sneak out of school and go to Strawberry Field to write music. That was a big place where they obviously
all the
wrote
time
music together.
And then, of course, I mean, you've all seen Mendips and where John lived with Mimi, and those are John and Paul's houses you cannot go into. You need to book those in advance with the National Trust to go in them, so we couldn't go in them today. But he took us by and told us some stories, some kind of ghosty stories, think that maybe which you could believe
maybe
or not
real,
believe.
Not, yeah.
I don't know if I did believe all that.
I don't know either.
But it was sweet and innocent.
It was sweet.
And again, lots of other tours going on outside because where John lived is pretty much a main drag.
It's very busy street.
And as you learned today, John grew up much more posh than Paul, George, or Ringo, and you've witnessed
Ringo.
it. Especially Ringo, much more posh area.
Mm-hmm.
Not that any of them were loaded with money, but that was a pretty well-to-do neighborhood.
Yes,
very well-to-do neighborhood.
Very
That's why
well-to-do.
The whole working class hero thing is like, what are you talking about? Because, I get it, but when you come here and you actually see where they grew up, John grew up pretty well.
He did.
He did. Now, did he have this emotional support of the family? No.
Yeah, money ain't everything.
No, he did not. So the tour goes to John's house and then it ends at Paul's house on Fourth. And that's how it's done that way on purpose. They do a good job here at this hotel. They really do to plan the whole thing out. Yeah. And again, I think it was about a 5-minute ride from John's to Paul's.
Bad,
not far.
He said they rode their bikes to each other's houses and there was like a path behind houses to get there quicker. But yeah, about a 5-minute car ride.
Quick. And again, Council House. Okay. And there's the National Trust, of Jim, Mary, Paul, and Mike, which they lived until 1964 when it just became over. And that was the other thing too about all the houses. After they became so successful, and
their parents said,
were like, we can't.
There's 1,000 people on our front lawn.
Or they're ripping the stone off the front of the freaking mantle of the windowsill.
Picking paint chips off of the windowsills of John Lennon's house, to the point where it was like you could see chipping away because people needed just a little souvenir of the house.
So here's me and Heidi outside of Paul's house there on 24th Lynn Road, and when we pulled up, I said, I've never actually gotten out of the car and stopped and looked
My
at it.
jaw dropped. I'm like, you?
No.
Because I've driven down the street. I've never stopped at the house.
And here's our mate here, Dave.
He was terrific.
He was a terrific, authentic Scouser who gave us a wonderful tour of the whole place.
Touristy and not touristy information.
And then at the end, we wanted him to drop us off at the Philharmonic, which where we met Beatley Tone last year, just to go back. But before we did that, we wanted to stop by the Lipa, which is the old high school that Paul and George went to, and John went to the art college, which was next to it. Of course, now you know it's all connected as one big school, which Paul runs, called the Lipa.
Yes.
And
a great story that we learned from Dave was, so you have to pay to go to that, what we now call a high school, and they call 11 plus. If you pass your 11s, you get to go to high school.
Oh, the 11 plus, yeah.
Yeah.
There's me outside of Lipa.
So Paul's family paid for Paul to go to that school. John wanted to go, and his Aunt Mim said, "No, you're just going to be a troublemaker. You're not going." So he went to the school next door.
He went to the art college, and the both of them would nip out and go out and write songs in Liverpool.
Strawberry Fields.
Yeah, yes. or back at Paul's house, which they did a lot because Paul's mom had died, and Paul's dad was working, so that was it. They couldn't go to Mimi's house.
No.
At all.
You know what else I learned today? I know we're a little all over the place, but Ringo's house did not have indoor plumbing. They used the bathroom. To go to the bathroom, they had to go in the backyard in the dead of winter. And it was cold today. So when Dave told me that, I said, no.
It was cold.
So I asked if Paul had indoor plumbing. He said they had both. And the story I think that we all probably know, they loved to sing and play music in Paul's bathroom because of the acoustics.
Yeah.
But so that's what we're saying. Like, you have John, who was pretty posh, and then you have Ringo, who had to go outside in the dead of winter to use the bathroom.
So we ended the tour with Dave at the Philharmonic, and we said goodbye to him and had
big hugs.
Big hugs. Thanked him a lot. And I said I wanted to go to Yay Crack too, which was another kind of hangout of John and Paul, especially John's.
Yeah.
Around right down the road from the art college and the institute. So let's go check out Yay Crack, which has gone through different levels of ownership and stuff like that. It was closed when I was here.
Closed for many years.
I said, let me go and check it out. So this is outside of Yay Crack, which is the other place.
Another very authentic.
Inside, authentic, not touristy.
Local type pub.
Yeah. And again, loads of early Beatles hit photographs all over the place.
Yes.
And literally, we just sat in there to just warm our hands up. And
we were freezing.
We're freezing.
And then inside the pub is a little inner room, and they call it the war room. And again, made friends with the locals to get some of the, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? And they said, go in the middle of the pub. There's a little war room. And I said, war room? And he goes, after the war, the guys used to come back and they'd share war stories, and people didn't want to hear it. And they'd say, this room is the war room now. If you want to talk about the room, you go in the war room. And he goes, but the Beatles used to also use the war room just to have a little privacy.
That was cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah. So, and that was the end of our tour.
Oh.
Came back, and now here we are wrapping it up.
Yeah. Wrapping up the day, the time in Liverpool, and the year.
Yeah, in the year.
We keep forgetting it's New Year's Eve.
It is. So that's a succinct kind of recap of our time in Liverpool here that we wanted to share with everybody.
So magical.
For you, those of you that live here or have been here, and those of you that kind of want to come here, hopefully our enthusiasm transcends and makes you want to get a pilgrimage over here, because no Beatle fan should ever not come. They have to make one journey over here at one time in their life.
And our recommendation is, you want to do one of those bus tours, fine, but it's worth the £90 to get a private tour.
Do it.
And even if you think you know everything you know about the Beatles, you're gonna learn one or two, like gentleman today learned one or two. Oh, you know what? The liquor store.
An off license.
An off license. So after bars would close, if you needed a bottle of something, alcohol, you would go to the off license. Andy didn't realize, he learned today, they call it the Offie.
The Offie.
OFFY. So if you needed a bottle of something, you'd go to the Offie. And Andy's like, I didn't know that. I love being with you and you're learning something new.
That was pretty cool.
Because he's been my teacher for 7 years with anything music related. So to see Andy learn something new is pretty cool.
Yeah. So
I hope you guys get to come to Liverpool. It's about the Beatles, but it's about music. It's about the locals, the town, the history.
not just music, as
Not
we've
just
learned.
music. It's just the people here are lovely, and you need to just walk in their shoes. It's incredible in Liverpool.
It is. So I'm going to show you my jacket before I sign off.
Yeah.
Check it out. See it?
Yep. It says John Paul, George and Ringo, Liverpool, England. See the sleeve.
Signing off. So had to wear this one for this live stream just because we're here in the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And it has been so incredible to spend the time here, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And we wish you all a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. See you in 2026.
Roll on 2026 for the Magical Mystery Tour and all good things, Beatles and Paul, that come with it. We'll be sharing it all with you, and wish all the best to you and your families, health, prosperity, and all the good stuff in 2026 to you and your families.
Positivity and happiness. And look for another live with Beatley Tone and Andy in a couple of days'
Yes,
time.
and Kyle Hand on Hands Across the Water, a live stream. We'll be on Hands Across the Water, and I'll be in the Beatley Tone studio for the first time. I can't
Kim
wait.
and I will be watching behind the scenes.
I can't wait for it. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I know.
So, again, Happy New Year, everybody. Peace and love from Andy and Heidi in Liverpool, and we'll see you next year.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.